Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Expert, hosted by myself, Patty Farmer, my co-host, Teresa Ream, and we are so excited to have you here with us today. You know, we work and search high and low to find the best experts within PWN because it is a member benefit to be interviewed, but we want to make sure that it doesn't just stop here, right? Our guest shares valuable information. We want to make sure that you implement some of the information, take what you can. It's kind of like a recipe. There's some ingredients. We're all going to like one of the ingredients or more, right? And then you want to make sure that you connect with her, with Teresa, with myself, and we'll have an invitation for you at the end too. So thank you so much for showing up, for being here, and for listening, and for coming back week after week. So Teresa, can you tell everybody a little bit about our guest today?
Yes, thanks, Patty. Today we will be talking to a nutrition stress management specialist, Carolyn Gish. And Carolyn is an award-winning L4 sales trainer, a speaker, and creator of the 90-second sales solution. With 35 plus years in sales in the financial sector and as a holistic nutritional specialist, she knows what it's like to experience burnout and to walk away from a six-figure business. This led to her mission of helping entrepreneurs and business owners to create wealth without risking their health by utilizing the tools, training, and technology that allows them to increase their sales up to 300% and close deals faster while at the same time designing an empowered life and business. So welcome, Carolyn. I'm so excited to hear more about what you do.
Well, thank you very much for having me. This is awesome. I love it.
Yes, I love it too. So we're going to jump right in.
Okay.
So Carolyn, what is the number one thing that differentiates you from everyone else in your industry? I mean, like for you, like you do sales as well as, you know, this holistic approach to, you know, an empowered life and business, which I think that in itself already differentiates you. But what would you say is the one thing that you bring to the table that everybody else really isn't?
I think it is that holistic approach to health and business, and really about helping people see how they can have simple tools to allow them to be their best self. I mean, women these days are just struggling with stress and burnout, as I went through myself. And I wish I had a me back then. I mean, that's the thing. I wish I did have a me, because I only had me and I wasn't trained in it. So, I mean, I think the big thing is that we have more things like we're worried about money. We're worried about balancing our kids, if we have children, you know, our parents, dealing with them. And so we're kind of in that squashed, we call that, you know, that sandwich generation, right? And so I think the thing is that, you know, a lot of women over the years that I've been doing this, as when I moved into holistic nutrition, is I really wanted people to have very simple tools they could implement really easily into their life. And so that's really what I'm about, is making sure that people have an approach that helps them in their business, which is if you can increase your sales, that takes away that financial stress you might have. And then if you have the tools for your health, where you know what to eat and maybe and working out, you know, so many women I talk to just get upset with, oh, I have to do a bikini boot camp and then I'm not losing weight and all these different things. And it's too complicated. It needs to be super simple that they can fit into their already busy life. And that's really what I customize, is making sure that it's body, mind, spirit, that we take care of all aspects of ourselves, help people with communication so they can communicate better with their family and in their business, because then that reduces stress. I mean, like seriously, stress is caused a lot by lack of communication. Especially
I think it says a lot. I think it says a lot, really, that like you walked away from a six-figure business yourself, right? You know, I mean, like that right there really says a lot. And I think that in that sandwich generation, right, it's not just mind, body, spirit. It's also that we have a lot of things that we're dealing with that other people don't deal with, right? Like, I mean, we're kind of menopausal. We have hormone things that are going on. Some of us have a a new business or a new passion or purpose that we're doing in a different season of our life that maybe isn't what we did before and stuff. So we have a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of shifts that have to be made. And so I really feel like that holistic approach to life and business, I think what you bring to the table there is really, really important, because, it's kind of like when people say, oh, they're a life coach or you're a business coach, when the reality is I've never seen a life coach where it didn't kind of overlap into business. And I've never known a business coach where it didn't affect your life. Right. So having that holistic approach to both life and business, so they have an empowered life and business, I think is phenomenal.
I do too, Patty. Just seeing what she does of the integration of the whole woman, it really, it actually excited me. I really love that aspect, because too often we work on different parts of ourselves and we leave others just to fall to the wayside. And those are the ones that come back and bite us. And I noticed that a lot of how you started with women was first empowering them. So I'd like to learn, hear more about that first step. It was that first step that kind of excited me about your empowerment.
And so, what do you mean by that? Like the first step, like once I burnt out, or what kind of got me through that space?
No, when you're working with your clients, you start with the empowerment part of it. I was fascinated by that. I'd like to hear just a few minutes about that.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that, because I was just with a client just the other day, and the one thing she said was, you've given me so much information, but it's such tangible information. So I always want, I've worked with children, I've worked with women, men, teenagers in lots of different areas. But the biggest thing is I want to give them tools that they can then implement, because if I'm just telling you what to do, that doesn't help. I need to empower you to be able to put it in place in your life. And that could be different things. Like it could be, Teresa, that you're really busy with kids and your businesses, and you maybe don't have a lot of time to work out. So you're going, well, how the heck am I going to sleep, work out, make dinner for my family, and run my businesses? Like, how am I going to do it all? And so what I really like to do in the empowerment side is find out, what does your life look like? And then how can we put those pieces of that puzzle together for you? I mean, obviously there's a base to it in my program, but it really is about how is it going to fit into your life? Because then you're empowered to feel like you have control again, which is what it's all about, right?
And that is so important. And I do have to tell you in full transparency, Teresa, if you didn't know, and to those out there, is that I'm actually a client of Carolyn's. And so I have to tell you.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So when I very first went to work with Carolyn, I was like, okay, I can't sleep. I was really sleeping and getting up like several times a night. And, she's really, really helped me to be able to do that. She, was able to look at what I was already doing, help me get some clarity there and stuff. And so I really feel like, and part of that empowering me too was helping me not feel guilty. Like, I think that sometimes as women, we have a whole lot of guilt going on about all those things too. And so once I realized that I wasn't alone, like, there are so many women out there that are feeling those same things. And I kind of got the clarity about that. And that just really kind of really helped me to kind of hone in on that. And I have to tell you, she did some amazing stuff for me. I mean, she analyzed all my supplements, looked at what did I need to take, what didn't I need to take, what was interacting with stuff. I mean, I got more sleep, less stress. So I have to tell you, I thought that was pretty kind of amazing, really. That's my endorsement, Carolyn.
Oh, thank you.
That's a game changer, as you would say, Patty. It's a game changer.
Totally.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing is listening to Patty's life, the way she is and running her incredible business, and just all the things she's dealing with, and like, how can I eat something during the day? Like, what was she grabbing already, and what could I change and help her with that didn't take her entire weekend? But it is really about that. And when I was actually in sales, and I was a financial planner, I mean, I had 2 young kids and my husband was traveling 50% of the time. So, and I had no family around me. So I was working 60, 70-hour weeks. Probably at that point, I'll admit, I was not great at eating. Eating was an option, it's like, oh boy, I haven't eaten and it's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's why I'm feeling faint. But really it got to that point in my health that I had no choice. I exhausted all the options. And so that's why I had to leave. So I understand that piece of what that feels like. And one of the things my dad has always said to me is you got to have mud on your boots. That was his expression. And it's like, you have to live through these things to be able to coach them. So, I mean, for me, I can say, honestly, I've been where you know where you are, right? And it's the same as I worked up in shift work when I was a nutritionist up in the oil patch in Canada. Same thing. I wanted to know what it was like to work the shifts. So I actually took on working a night shift, 3 night shifts in a row. And then I went, oh, okay, this is a whole different ball game than I thought, because I then got to experience what it was like for those people to do it. Then I could coach them in a different way. And again, that comes back to, I'm just not telling them what to do. I'm saying, okay, I was with you.
Mhm.
Yes,
That
I like
makes
the
it
mud on the
very-
boots. The
I
mud
know,
on-
I love that too. So
Yeah.
Carolyn, so Teresa, back to you.
Yes, yes. What is the best compliment you've received from a client?
Oh, it's funny. That kind of leads into what I was just saying before. I think the best compliment was actually another expression. Someone said, you open people up like jars of jam. That was, and I had a client say that. Yeah. And he said, I felt I was in a safe space to share everything about myself without any fear of judgment or anything like that. So I would say that, my gift is creating a space of compassion and understanding and non-judgment. So people can just show up, say what they want. I'm a very authentic person. I mean, Patty, that's one thing you've said as a client of mine is I am very authentic. I can't be anyone else but myself, but I'm intuitive as well. So I just feel that feeling and then create it so that they feel safe, because that's what people want. They want to feel heard and understood. And that's why communication with people is so critical. And
that is so important.
Yeah.
So very important, which kind of leads us into the next question, which is, do you have a new project, something you're working on right now that we can actually serve and support you?
Yeah, so I'm in right now, well, 2 things. I'm pre-launch with a almost ready to launch that program for really, I'm passionate about helping other women. And obviously if their husbands come along or sons or men will come along with it. And that occurred with my client yesterday. But yeah, working with women that are sort of entrepreneurial women over 40, maybe in a transition in their life, that are needing some guidance and how to get that vitality back in. And that, I don't know if you call it balance, because is there ever balance? But I think it's really that vitality and love of life and direction and support. And so that's what the program is going to be. It's a 12-week program. And then I also have a 12-week program for communication currently already available, and that coaches people in a group coaching environment as well. And that takes them through how to have effective communication in their personal life and also in their business to help increase their sales, but also just really solidify great relationships, which we all want with our family and friends and clients. So you really know people.
Wow, that's it's a couple of great projects that's really going to help women. Just amazing. I'm rereading the book, Women That Run with Wolves. And when you talked about creating a safe space, it reminded me of a passage in that book that we need the good mother that helps us, that we can go to. And that's what most women sometimes are missing. They no longer have the good mother to go to for that safe space, or maybe it was pretty sparse for them. So that reminded me of the book when you said that. And that's really big for me, because as women, we don't get a lot of that. We're just on the go all the time, and we don't get that sacred space with another woman.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree. And I think that's critical right now. It's always been, but even more so right now because of the number of things we're balancing and creating that space. And it is that difference of not competing. And I think it is just showing up, being there, listening. That's one of the things my daughters have taught me a lot is I don't want your help, Mom. I just want you to listen. And
Yes.
you know, because as a coach, sometimes they start coaching, right? So,
Well, because we think we're going to fix it. I know my kids say that to me too. They're like, Mom, I'm not asking you to fix it. I'm just asking you to listen. So no, I totally get that. So back to you, Teresa.
Yes. Who can we introduce you to that would move that needle for you or be a game changer in your business in the next 30 days?
I think what would really be helpful is to get on some podcasts, you know, so that I can talk about it. That's the medium. I'm more verbal and like to interact with people and have conversations. So it would be great to be introduced to some women that have podcasts that would like to have someone like myself talking about those different things of stress and that holistic viewpoint of health and wealth. That would be wonderful.
Oh, and
just
we
to
do
connect
have
more.
some. And we do have a lot of women in PWN who either have podcasts or have been on podcasts or can introduce you to people who have podcasts. And, you know, you're so dynamic as a speaker and so heartfelt when you share. So the reality is whether it's a podcast where people share stories or one where they share techniques and stuff, I mean, you pretty much cover all of those. And in the health and wellness too, she didn't really get a chance to say it, but she actually helps parents who have children that are on the spectrum too. She's amazing at that. So, you know, there's a lot of that going on and they certainly need some help too. And I know there's a lot of health podcasts in that area as well. So I think podcast was actually a really good choice. So thank you for that, Carolyn. So what social media platform are you the most active on and would like our audience to connect with you?
I would say most active currently on Instagram, but I'm moving into the Facebook and LinkedIn as well. I would say like Instagram and Facebook go together, and then I'm going to spend more time on LinkedIn because I think there's definitely a desire to be there. So really, I think those is probably all three of them that I'm going to be focusing on. But right now I'm more Instagram. I'm not a high techie person, so Instagram I find easy. But yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. So can you share with everybody your website? Because I know that on your website, you probably have all your social media icons. So what is your website? And everybody can look there and find the place that they want to connect, right?
Yeah, my website is the www.carolyngish.com. Just my name.
Thank you. And thank you so much, Carolyn, for being here on the Ask the Expert show. This was fabulous. You shared some amazing information. I think everybody got to get to know you a little bit more and really, honestly, really understand this whole holistic approach. And I think a lot of times people don't really realize how important it is that having a holistic approach to your business is just as important as having a holistic approach to your life. And that health and wellness piece for you, having been there yourself, I think it really gives you a part of the story that most people are missing. So I love that. So thank you so much for being a guest on the show and sharing your zone of genius so brilliantly. And to our guests that are listening out there, thank you. Thank you so much for showing up, for listening, for sharing. Don't keep us a secret. Share. You know somebody, know a podcast host, know somebody that sounds like Carolyn needs to meet. Connect with Carolyn yourself. Continue the conversation, right? Believe me when I say that your colleagues, your friends and family will thank you. And we have an invitation for you as well. So Teresa.
Thank you, Patty. Carolyn, it was a wonderful interview. So much enjoyed it. We would like to invite you to join us in our Facebook group and connect with our guests, with Patty and I, and the other amazing women that are part of the Professional Women's Network of the Monterey Peninsula, known as PWN, and now includes members locally, nationally, and internationally too. And we would love to have you join us and share your expertise with our audiences. You go to www.facebook.com/groups/PWN Monterey.
And thank you. And not only that, when this airs and you see it, in the group, one of the things that's really wonderful is we kind of get this bonus where our experts are also willing to not just share here on the interview, but if this brings up any questions for you, make sure that you put the questions in the comments below the video, and we will make sure that the experts come and answer all those questions for you. So, maybe we didn't touch every single thing you want to know. Maybe it kind of brought something up for you. Reach out to Carolyn if you can't wait. Put your questions if you want to do that. But, we want you to not just be heard, but we want to answer your questions and be of the highest service to you that we can. And I know that Carolyn does as well. So thank you,
Absolutely.
everybody, for being here. We'll see you again next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.